working on the
go.
shuttle program
Here we go.
for a good number of years.
I'll be back in a second.
And I'm here with my colleague today, Kevin Burke, who participated in the acquisition and deployment of the 30 or so clips that you're going to see in just a few minutes. Now, and Kevin, thanks for being here today.
Glad to be here, Matt.
What you're going to see is what I consider to be the best of the best state-of-the-art imagery on both film and high-definition video that the Space Shuttle program is capable of producing today. And not only does it serve a technical purpose, and we'll get into a lot of that detail as we get into the movies here, but it also serves as an enormous inspirational and educational aspect for all of NASA's stakeholders. There's a number of intents that we have for this production, and one of them is to pay tribute and commemorate the shuttle program, which has essentially been a 30-year program, and it's nearing completion as we go to final print with this production. We also want to pay tribute to the men and women that made all of this imagery possible over the years of different missions and launches that we've had, and also to give a view that not very many people see outside the NASA family of these fantastic pictures that are used largely for engineering purposes, and to let everyone on the outside of the NASA family have insight as to what goes on with the shuttle when it launches. I think this is a very moving set of clips that you're about to see. We're opening here with this somewhat stylized view of one of the launch sequences that actually is going to play out in the upcoming clips, and I've got a little soft focus on it, and thought we would open it up with a couple of fun facts about the shuttle. It really is an amazing piece of equipment. It has phenomenal amount of fuel that it burns over the 8 minutes during its trip to orbit, and when they get up there, in that short 8 minutes, they're going about 5 miles a second, which is a pretty spectacular achievement for a piece of machinery. So this is how it all happens. This is how the machine does its job, and the film speaks volumes.
This is camera view E19. We commonly refer to this as Echo 19. And it's a 16 millimeter camera with a 10 millimeter field of view for the lens, the focal length of the lens. And it's running at 400 frames a second. So the effective shutter speed is really 1/1200th of a second.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, this is all a slow motion event. And basically you're going to see the 6 seconds prior to launch of the vehicle as the space shuttle main engines turn on. Now, the purpose of this camera, they all have different purposes. Most of these, if not all of these cameras that you're going to see in this production, are engineering cameras to look for different engineering aspects of the launch process. And so the purpose of this one is to check to make sure ignition is going off okay, which is what you're seeing here. Main engine start is just happening, and you can see the engines are starting one at a time. This particular camera looks at engines number 1 and 3, right? Is that what this is?
Yep.
And so you can see them, they're starting to fire up. Those sparkers that you see are there to make sure that any unburned hydrogen gets ignited before it floats around and collects in some place where it can ignite later and cause problems. Again, you're seeing the engines sort of turn on here. And so we're roughly coming into about 5 seconds before liftoff. The computers are checking and validating that everything's A-OK. And there's a little bit of a pitch over that the whole vehicle does as a consequence of these engines thrusting off the center of gravity. And when the whole vehicle snaps back and is straight up in the air, the engines or the boosters ignite and the whole thing takes off. Great photography here. I mean, you can see all this flow phenomenon going on inside the engines. Now, the space shuttle main engines are burning hydrogen and oxygen, and I'll talk about some of the fun facts about that later on in some of the other clips that you're going to see. But here you can see the engines have stabilized, and everything is A-OK. And in just a few moments, you'll see the boosters fire off. Did we talk about the time code? I can't remember. So.
No, we haven't talked about the time code. The time code that you'll see, the LED display on the right-hand side, is actually positioned between the two sprockets on the 16 millimeter frame. And the time code is UTC time code. It's an IRB format. and you'll see that it's 21 hours, being UTC at 5:02 p.m. local time, 2 minutes, 11 seconds, and the three digits that are moving in the upper right-hand corner would be representing a thousandth of a second. The solid number 1, the second digit from the top, is indicating the synchronization of the camera is more of a technical parameter. And that is on every camera to synchronize the field of view, synchronize the time.
This is pretty cool. You can see some of the oxygen, that cloud of vapor there was from the oxygen fuel umbilical. Of course, the solid rocket boosters have now ignited, and the whole vehicle is lifting off the pad. And you can see sort of the glory of this moment. I mean, there's an enormous amount of fuel being burned. One little thing that I love is if you look at the sky in the background, and this was a very clear day. These pictures were selected, or these movies were selected because of the wonderful photography that we got on this day. And you can see the sky deep into this dark blue, and that's because, as Kevin will talk later on, that we got into color correction that we do post launch to make sure that we're capturing all of these the events that are going on, all of the flow events. So here the vehicle is clearing the pad, and we're on our way.
This view that you're seeing here is camera E8 or Echo 8, and it's a 16 millimeter camera with a 10 millimeter lens.
Yeah, you can see the boosters now coming off the pad, and one of the amazing things that a lot of folks don't know about the shuttle is bolted to the mobile launch platform is it's basically through 4 bolts on each solid rocket booster. And the intent of these cameras is to watch that bolt, which is an explosive nut bolt arrangement, and the bolt weighs about 100 pounds, I should say. And these nuts fracture, and the bolts slap down into a holder that you're actually sort of seeing in the foreground here. And they literally release the vehicle from the pad and allow it to take off. So for obvious reasons, we have a camera on each one of these explosive hold-down posts. And to make sure that they're operating, they're a critical aspect to the launch process. We want to make sure that they're operating good. So you can see that puff of smoke coming out. And actually, if you want to put the remote on a frame-by-frame stop action, you can actually see the flash as it explodes. Now, Kevin, here's where you guys really did a fantastic job of capturing the detail in the plume through this automatic aperture on the cameras. You want to talk about that a bit?
Sure. Many of the 16 millimeter cameras that are on the MLP and pad structure have an automatic exposure control. It's the only real way to keep the exposure, the high dynamic range exposure from pre-ignition of the SRBs through the liftoff out of the frame of view. So the camera has basically an automatic exposure.
Right. Now look at the sky on the left thing, and see how it gets dark. Actually, on both sides, you can see how it turns that deep blue. That's the automatic aperture in action right there, right?
Allowing it to see the detail in the pad structure and also in the flame.
Yeah. I mean, when you see a launch in real life, you can't see any detail with the naked eye in the plume. It's just like looking into the sun almost. It's so bright. We can see some of the water from the launch pad. There's a cooling water that comes out. We'll talk about that later. That's splashing onto this quartz protective glass that the camera's behind. Of course, they're in these explosion-proof containers, right, to keep the cameras safe and sound. No cameras were harmed in this in the making of this movie.
That's right. The cameras are in an explosion-proof box, which is nitrogen purged, and the quartz glass on the front protects the lens. In most cases, there are some cases where there's damage, and if that's the case, the lenses will be repolished, reground, or whatever's necessary to bring them back into optimal condition. Well, Matt, this next view coming up is Echo 18 or Camera 18, and it's a 10 millimeter lens and looking at the TSM or the tail service mast carrier disconnect.
Yeah, the umbilicals, there's one on each side of the orbiter, one for the liquid oxygen fueling and one for the liquid hydrogen fueling. Those are primary purposes. You can see there's a lot of other instrumentation on these things in feed lines. But these cameras, their intention is to make sure we get good retraction of this. And there's actually a huge 20,000-pound mast that pulls these things inside the tail service mast for the door to slam shut and protect them from the hostile environment on the outside. Now, these umbilicals are about 4 feet wide by 6 foot tall, so you don't really get a sense of scale when you're looking at these in these movies. But they're as big as an average-sized human being, so they're quite large.
One of the interesting photographic challenges that we run into in photographing the TSM carrier disconnect from the inside of the tail service mast is once that door closes, it's pitch black in there. So there's a set of series of tungsten lamps that provide illumination, and the vibrations, the tremendous amount of vibrations that are induced during the liftoff, really rattle those lights, and keeping them from having those bulbs break has been quite a challenge. In fact, they are in the process of changing those lights over to the new LED arrays that provide more stability and less frequency of having the bulbs go out before the film runs out.
They're a lot more robust to that kind of environment.
Okay, Matt, this is Echo 001, and this is one of the 4 cameras on the edges of the MLP deck. This camera happens to be on the northeast corner of the MLP deck, and it's a 16 millimeter camera, as all the ones on the MLP are, and 10 millimeter focal length. It's a wide angle view, and the effective shutter speed is about 1/1200th of a second.
For our viewers, you can see that we pulled a little bit away back from the vehicle. Now we're taking a little bit of a wider view. There's the SSMEs just firing off there, and you can see the plume in the background growing. In fact, if you look carefully against the plume there, you can see a couple of cameras. Why don't you mention what those are, Kevin?
Those are some OTV cameras, operational television cameras, that are used for surveillance of the vehicle. They and are piped back live to the launch control complex. The signals.
So the SSMEs are firing. You can actually see the launch tower on the right-hand side of the screen. And again, they go on for about 6 seconds. Computers are making sure that everything's working. And at T-0, those boosters are going to fire, and you'll see a big puff of smoke come out of the flame trench there, and it'll get sucked back down in as the boosters come off the pad. And these two sort of structures, one standing just to the left of the left booster and one standing just to the right of the right booster, are called rainbirds. And there's some piping sort of flat against the launch pad as well that sort of connect all these things together. There go the boosters firing. And all of this fresh water, 300,000 gallons to be exact, comes pouring out of those rainbirds and onto the launch pad to deaden the acoustic noise and cool the pad down. So that's where the water comes from in some of these camera shots.
And here you can see the AEC, the automatic exposure control on the cameras, taking over as the booster plume comes into view, and allows to see the AEC allows you to see the detail both in the plume as well as in the vehicle and the structure itself.
All right.
You can also see very good detail on the deck of the MLP.
Now, we talk a little bit about the purpose of each one of these cameras, and this one is to look for some structural anomalies on the vehicle, some thermal insulation failures we might have on the tiles or the blankets, etc., and how the water is getting dispersed on the pad. And also we're looking at debris, and actually you can see here that we've got quite a bit of debris in the field, and debris is a big concern for the shuttle folks, and we want to keep an eye on it to make sure we don't have anything that's going to threaten the vehicle.
Now, Matt, you can see that this is this is camera Echo 4, E004. It's on the
Go break more?
corner of the
All right.
MLP deck, and very similar in field of view to the camera we just looked at. One of the things I like to point out is you can see one of the camera box enclosures we were talking about a little bit earlier on the left-hand side of the frame, right in front of the left SRB.
Yeah, and in fact, as we mentioned earlier in the piece, there's about 125 cameras or so, actually more, that document any given launch. And so, for brevity in this piece and to make it watchable, we had to have a lot of film hit the cutting room floor, and it was really difficult for me to cut a lot of it out because I loved all of the footage. I'm a fan of each and every camera, but that little camera there didn't get its day in the shade. That film of the booster had to. We'll have to have that for the director's cut in the future.
And just to give you a perspective, this camera originally captured this scene at 400 frames a second. So it's being played back at 24 frames. So it's about 1/16th of the speed that it was actually captured at to give us a real-time view.
Now you can see here how absolutely gorgeous the day was. And as we mentioned earlier, it was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So in the film industry, they call this magic hour, and there's no question about it that this is one of the best times of day to take photographs of the shuttle. You have these rich colors and just a beautiful blue sky to sort of highlight all of this. So I find these pictures second to none in all of the launch imagery that's been taken. I should say that these boosters shed about 10,000 pounds of mass per second once they're lit up. And that's each, so it's 20,000 pounds combined. And you can really get the feel of that awesome magnitude by looking at these images. There you see a piece of debris on the right, sort of doing a ballet in slow motion there. This is some tie-down string from some water membranes under the SRBs that we'll talk about in a few moments. You know, teams go through this. This is engineering footage, and the teams go through this and identify everything they see in it.
Okay, this is camera Echo 36, and this camera is located on the fixed service structure at the 255 foot level. We refer to the fixed service structure as the FSS. It's a 16 millimeter camera with a 16 millimeter focal length lens, and the effective shutter speed is about a 1/1200th of a second, similar to some of the other ones that we've seen.
This is a long clip. In fact, this is probably the longest clip that I getting jarred loose and turning into steam. And I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, that it prevents sort of a recirculation of the exhaust at liftoff. Probably, again, acoustic deadening noise. And there you see those boosters firing off. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, you see the umbilical falling backwards there. And then look at how the space shuttle main engines are punching through that water in the flame trench. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is quite a dramatic shot, and you can see the auto exposure control on the lens, as we've talked about on some of the other views, really helping to be able to see the detail on the SSMEs punching that hole, as well as looking at the plume from the SRB, and seeing the edge of the belly of the orbiter too.
See, the SSMEs aim a little bit off kilt there, and you can see them hitting the upper part of the mobile launch platform as they rise off. Amazing that they capture all that detail in the SRB plumes. It's good stuff. It's a fantastic clip. It really is.
This is camera Echo 41. This is on the fixed service structure on the FSS at the 255 foot level. It's a 10 millimeter focal length on the 16 millimeter camera. It's a really interesting view, and I know, Matt, you want to provide some more details about what we're seeing.
Yeah, you can see the boosters have already fired, and this big umbilical structure that you see swinging back is actually very massive. The plate on the end of that is about 1.5 feet by 3 foot square. You'll see a close-up of that in a little bit. That's the ground umbilical to hook up to the venting for the hydrogen tank, and it's got some nitrogen and helium purge lines and some instrumentation to go with it. Pretty complicated structure. You get a picture of that in a minute. If you look at the MLP, or the mobile launch platform, you'll see all the water coming out of the rainbirds under the launch pad. And again, our active exposure kicking in there and giving us a great shot of the plumes as the vehicle clears the tower. Look on the right, you can just see a tad of the SSME burning there, that little blue cone. Fantastic detail there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great shot. Echo 40 is one of my favorite shots, Matt, and this is on the fixed service structure on the FSS at the 275 foot level, just a bit higher than the two previous views we saw. And this is really an incredible view of not only the orbiter, but the beautiful ocean, the late spring day in Florida, and very nice lighting on the tank, and as well as you'll see on the orbiter.
All right, dudes.
Yeah, it truly is magic hour.
We could sit and watch this all day, and it is pretty awesome. We'll watch this last shot, and then we'll jump into space news. Link me. Link me, dog.
Liquid oxygen and hydrogen are pretty chilly when you get into the liquid state.
Jesus.
Actually,
Okay.
virtually look into the cockpit here. If you look carefully, you can see the ocean right through the window, just briefly there for a moment. Kind of fun. Just discovering all its glory. This engineering view is to look at any.
The hot dogs were amazing.
Tiles or thermal protection system of the vehicle, and look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see some of the flakes of ice sort of
chonk.
Remember, as we mentioned earlier, that 3,000 pounds of water vapor a second is coming out of the spaceship.
Oh, nice face. That's good.
It's pretty incredible. It's virtually invisible.
Yeah, Duber. The SRBs are huge. You want to hear something crazy? The solids are about the size of a Falcon 9. They're the same diameter. That's the same diameter as a Falcon 9. But here's the thing. And actually, they're about the same height, too. It's about 150 feet tall over the 4 segments from the nozzle all the way to the nose cone. Falcon 9 produces, let's see, about 9 meganewtons of thrust off the pad. The SRB is about the exact same size, right? About the same size, about the same length, about the same width. Produces 12,000 kilonewtons of thrust. 12 meganewtons, as opposed to 8. There's your extra boom boom from your solid rocket motors. That's why the shuttle used them, because they're pretty damn good. An SRB is about the same size, but produces 33% more thrust. That's 33% more thrust per thrust. I don't know what that means, Duber. Were all these cameras active on all launches? Every single one of them digital. SpaceX has these cameras too. Same pad. They have these cameras, they just don't show them very much. SRBs are very efficient? No. Not efficient. They're the opposite of efficient. They're powerful. But the name of the game with your first stage is more TWR. Because more TWR actually ends up giving you more delta V with your first stage. True story. Yeah, a little weird. That whole atmosphere thing. Yeah, interesting, right? SpaceX does have these high-speed cameras. I can show them to you. Here they are. I bet you they image this every launch. Pretty cool, huh? Are those for forensics or something if something goes wrong, or is there some use to the footage on even clean flights? They would review that launch footage pretty much after every ascent. Every single ascent, just to be sure, to make sure that everything went right with that mission. Yeah, you want to be sure. You don't want to surprise, so to speak. You want to make sure the vehicle's working exactly how you think it's going to work. That's why they do it. That's why they film all that anyway. Yep. It's never going to be exactly the same every time, but yeah. All right, let's. I'm gonna start moving links over. Anyway, welcome to Space News, and we'll go from there. We will start moving the Space News over to the main computer. Okay, so Alpha V opinion. What's an Alpha V? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, man. Hey, I know you got enough on your plate to play, especially with the KSP coming back hard. Have you looked at the new Icarus expansions? Yes, I have. Also, Astra from yesterday. Okay. Oh, the extended cut. I don't need the Twitter post. We'll look at the extended cut. There we go. Get that there. You know what? We'll start there. That's fine. DeLorean's new car. Oh, Cocaine Man. Yeah, okay, I get it. Looks nice from that angle. Looks very nice. I mean, the car will be made from composites and aluminum. Only stainless on it will be the door guard. They're making a new DeLorean, and it doesn't have stainless steel trim? Some specs? Specs. DMC Texas, a company out of Texas owns DeLorean. $4.350 to Yes! Yes! Excellent. 2.9 seconds 0 to 60, top speed 155, range 300, battery 100 plus kilowatt hours, 0.23 drag coefficient. I like the back. The back looks funky. I like it. I really like this going on. And also the louvers. The louvers are very nice. This looks very much like very, very nice, Gee. How much road do you need to reach 88? Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. Oh, they can call that new thing a Mustang. I don't call that new thing a Mustang. I call it a Ford Escape Mach-E. Because that's what it is. Ford Escape Mach-E. It's not a Mustang. Ford can think it's a Mustang, but I'm sorry. It's not a Mustang. It's a cool car. I've ridden in one. fast. Very fast. I like this. I like this whole thing going on back here. That's quite nice. It doesn't really look like a DeLorean. I mean, it's a nice looking car. It's a nice looking car, but okay, like, I'll be brutally honest here because I I really like DeLoreans. It really doesn't, the looks don't inspire joy. Like, it looks like a Fisker or a Tesla or any other EV here. The only thing I like is the back and the louvers, man. That looks, this doesn't look like a DeLorean to me. In fact, if you took the DeLorean name off of it, I would tell you that this is like a Mercedes or something. Like, it doesn't look... What do you want? Square headlights? Come on now. No. No, not at all. It just doesn't really look like a DeLorean. Every automaker has a distinct style. And if we're gonna make a new DeLorean, I mean, I don't know. I see what they were doing. They just wanted to break the mold. The idea here isn't to make it look like an old DeLorean. The idea here is to make it look like something that John DeLorean would have designed in 2022. I understand exactly what they're trying to do. At least I'm pretty damn sure. It just looks like everything else. Dude, I will say, the back looks choice. That looks so cool. I really like that a lot. That's really nice. The back's amazing. The front doesn't really do much for me. It's also a sedan. No, it's a 2+2. That's a 2+2. I only see 2 doors here, bro. I only see 2 doors. That's a 2+2. Nice touch. Yeah. I only see 2 doors. That looks like a coupe to me. Yeah, it's got 4 seats. Looks like a coupe to me. Just saying. Huh. I mean, I don't mind this. That's kind of cool. Yeah, see? That's DeLorean inspired. Yeah, see? And then the dash. See, I like this. The interior is cool. Because the interior looks like... That looks like what every futuristic car in the 80s, they wish the interior looked like that. I like that. That's cool. I think that's neat. This looks like what they were trying to go for. 1983 DeLorean interior. See? See? That's very, very tastefully done. See? That's exactly what they were going for. I like that a lot. I think that's actually really neat. That's exactly what they were trying to do. It looks exactly... See? Oh, man, I like the interior on this car. Now I'm conflicted. Because that's what they wanted it to look like. See, look at the DeLorean interior. That's exactly what they were going for. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. That's cool, man. I mean, DeLoreans from the 80s didn't have any... They had a parcel shelf back there, or a flux capacitor apparatus back there. Yeah, see? That's cool. I like the interior. The interior is supposed to look like the interior of a DeLorean. That's very cool. It's just the outside. The outside isn't doing it for me. I think they nailed the back. The back is awesome. Also, louvers. Personally, I think louvers need to come back because louvers are sick. The back is exactly what they were going for. That's perfect. It's just the front. The front doesn't do it for me. Yeah, okay, I see what they were doing. Hey, Paper City. That's how the old DMC-12 felt back then. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, okay. I see what they were trying to. I see what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it inspired, but that scoop in the hood just doesn't look right. It doesn't look correct. That shouldn't be like that. That should be one smooth shape. But they're probably doing it for radiators to keep the grill cool. I really wish they didn't go for the super aerodynamic front. I really wish they'd kept it just a teeny weeny bit more boxy. I think that would look really nice. But then again, it could just be the pictures. Maybe it is boxy. Actually, hang on. Let me try something. So let's take this picture, save it, put it right on the desktop. Look at it upside down. Don't look at it upside down, but don't focus on anything. Just use your peripherals. Look straight ahead and try to focus on something over here, and then just focus on the shape. Yeah. Okay, I see it. Yeah, alright. Yeah. Yeah. Do you see the DeLorean shape? I do. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just you gotta make the front a little bit more boxy, but the DeLorean shape is definitely there. Yeah, it's there. I don't hate it. It took me a second to notice that there's a lot of features from the original DeLorean in this design, which is cool. But the fact that it took me a second, I am going to say that that's probably going to turn off a lot of people to buying this car. Why does every car need to have low profile rims nowadays? You know that makes ride comfort suck, right? If you just kind of sit back and look at it from here. Yeah. Not everything needs to be a freaking touring car piece of trash. I agree with James May on that one. Not everything needs to be able to lap the Nürburgring in 7 minutes. It's really freaking annoying. That's ruining car design. Well, not as much as crossovers, but you get the idea. Yeah, Crash, I agree. A lower or higher profile tire is going to make a much smoother ride. Yeah, fellas, I guess I don't hate it. I see what they were doing. I see what they were trying to do. At least I think I do. I love the interior. The interior for me gets a 10 out of 10. That is awesome. It is so faithful to the original one. That is exactly what they were trying to do. I think that's really neat. If you look at an old DeLorean interior, right, and then you look at that, that's exact. That is what they were trying. That's cool. I dig it. I think that's really, really neat. Nah, they weren't trying to do that. That's that one right there. There it is. Yeah. That's really cool. That steering wheel is the same shape your Chevy Sonic had. Yuck. I like this. Every car in the 80s wishes it had this interior. But low profile means more miles per gallon, right? Well, that's electric, but not necessarily. No, Murdoch. At least if it does, it's not something that I think it's skinnier tires lowers rolling resistance. Skinnier tires with high pressure will give you the best miles per gallon. That's why, like, race cars have tires inflated to, like, I don't know, maybe 1.2 bar, 1.3 bars, so like 20 psi. Road cars are like 35, 40 psi. The idea is that you want less of the car touching the ground. The less of the car that's touching the ground, the less rolling resistance you have, and the less work the engine has to do to move the damn thing. Low profile tires have high speed stability. They wobble less. Yeah. True that. Yeah. But I don't know about you, Moo. I don't need to go fast in my daily driver. No, I don't need to go fast in my daily driver. That's what the fast car is for. Fast car can have low profile, right? But yeah, I don't mind it, guys. I think it's cool. It took me a second to look at it, you know. Like, it took me a second to kind of put it all together, but I definitely see what they were trying to do. I actually kind of dig that. That looks nice. But at face value, it does kind of look like everything else. But the back, though, oh. Ooh. I don't hate this. You don't have anything fast, DJ. I don't hate this. Wait, Hellfish. Wait, what did you say? I don't have any. Sorry. I'm sorry. You're breaking up. You're going into a tunnel. I'm sorry. It must be the cell phone reception. I can't hear you. Yeah, I don't hate it. I like that. That's really, really cool looking. Also, louvers. Louvers need to come back. You don't have anything fast. What? I can't hear you. Oh man, your message got broken up again. I don't mind it. I really don't. Guess I'll have to yell. No, I guess you're gonna need to shut up. Are these renders? Yeah, newbies. It's the new DeLorean. What do you think? It's not bad. It kind of looks like everything else. I've noticed there's a lot of convergent design with cars lately. Everything has to be super aerodynamic and efficient, and it's okay. I don't mind it. I'd rather have a classic DeLorean. Well, I'll tell you this right now. I'll bet you that one goes faster than the classic one. No, we want to talk about slow cars. The original DeLoreans are not very fast. Yeah. The PRV engine is a piece of junk. Piece of junk. They suck. They're terrible motors. Pop-up headlights are cool, Pace. I just noticed that there's a lot of convergent design going on. Every car looks exactly the same, dude. EV swapped old DeLorean would be sick. Rothman, you can buy an EV swapped DeLorean from DeLorean. True story. Yep. Yeah. DMC Texas, the company that designed that car that I just showed you, offers an EV swap DeLorean out of the box. I don't think it needs an LS. Or not, to be honest with you. A DeLorean with... Actually, you know what I would do if I had a DeLorean? Here, we would piss off all the haters. You know what I would do? Flat 4. I'd put an EJ25 in it. Or we'd put the flat 6. You guys watch Mighty Car Mods? You remember Super Gramps? That motor. Let's put that in there. Let's put that in there backwards and then make it all-wheel drive on top of that. Have the drive shaft go right through the frame. Actually, that would be really freaking cool. Yeah. K24 DeLorean. Now we're talking. That would be really cool as well. Actually, how about a flat six, a Subaru 3.7 flat six from a Tribeca, and then turbo it Super Gramp style, and then put all-wheel drive in it. Can you imagine that? An all-wheel drive flat six turbo DeLorean. Now that would be cool. That would be a lot of work, but that would be cool. 4-cylinder boxer from a WRX. Yeah. I'm talking about the 6-cylinder version of that, Roth. But yeah, it'd be pretty sweet. That would be super gnar. I agree. Yeah, I've seen the LS swap DeLoreans. That's cool. LS DeLoreans are sweet. That's pretty cool. That's the motor that car deserved. DeLoreans, yeah. You know what's funny? They did to John DeLorean exactly what everybody did to Elon Musk 10 years ago when he tried to mass produce Teslas. They did the same crap. LS swaps are boring, agreed. They're great engines, and it's great if you want to make something go fast, but my thing about LS swaps, Pace, and I'm not just saying that because I don't like Chevy too much. Dude, in this day and age, we have access to so much stuff, so many different motor designs. There's all kinds of stuff out there. And then with the tuning, if you put an ECU on anything, you can tune it and you can make insane amounts of power. The K24 is a good example. There are people that are, like, if you guys have ever watched PFI Speed, like PFI Speed's making 500 horsepower out of a K24, like reliably. Turbo K24 with a good tune is making 500 horse. That's double the horsepower of the V8 that's in my Mustang. On 4 cylinders with half the displacement in a turbocharger. You know, like that's like what all this you're just gonna choose an LS, that's it? Is the K24 the Nissan truck engine? No, K24 is Honda's inline 4 motor. Dual overhead cam inline 4 motor. It's one of the best motors ever designed, like ever. The thing doesn't break. It's super freaking reliable because it's a Honda engine. Honda makes good engines. The transmissions are... You can make them stout. Yeah, that's turbine swap a DeLorean. Now we're talking. Yo, 2JZ. No, it might be too long, Roth. But actually, you know what the tasteful swap would be? You know what the tasteful swap would be? Who knows what this is? Hang on, I gotta find it. It's not really giving me a good picture of it. Here we go. I can't view the image, so I have to go to some bonehead's useless site. This is great. Here we go. There's the picture. Right there. Anybody know why? Anybody know why you'd want a Lotus engine in a DeLorean? Curious to see if people know the history of that car. Lighter engine? Import rules? You guys really don't know, do you? Guys, the DeLorean is a Lotus. It's on a Lotus chassis. It's on the same chassis as the Esprit. Not a lot of people know that. It's the same chassis. Yeah, DeLorean went to Lotus to get the chassis. It's the same thing. It's just got a different body on it. And Lotus is body on chassis. Those that from that year, they were body on chassis. Here. So a DeLorean, technically a DeLorean engine or a Lotus motor will bolt into a DeLorean, no problem. It'll bolt all in. Trying to find you guys another good picture, but we can't do this thing like actually, just looking at images. But here, take a look. See? It's a Lotus chassis. Always has been. Yep. Stupid PRV engine. So a Lotus V8 will fit in here. It'll fit in here because it's the same chassis. Also, that chassis is really sick. Not very good in side impact collisions because, there's nothing there. But also, yep. Now that's what you should do. They like get a DeLorean, you put a Lotus engine in it because Lotus, and then turbo that. It's faithful. That engine was engineered for that chassis. So it'll all bolt together. I've seen people do it. Plenty of people have done it. I've seen it on the internet. I've never seen one in real life. But yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, let's get to space news. Check this out. Also, one last tidbit of information. Here. John DeLorean is the guy that founded DeLorean Motor Company. Who knows their history? Who knows their history? So you see this car right here? Yeah, no, can't do that. Can't open it. Yep, nope, of course we can't. See that? Yeah, 64 Le Mans with a 389 tri-power swapped into it to make the Gran Turismo Omologato GTO. You know who designed it? John DeLorean. John DeLorean was an automotive engineer for GM, specifically Pontiac. The GTO was widely regarded as the first muscle car ever designed. John DeLorean invented the muscle car. Yeah, not a lot of people know that. Yep. Not a lot of people know that. John DeLorean invented the muscle car. He was a notoriously good automotive engineer. Yep. GTO, his idea. Oh, yeah. And it paid homage to the Italian GTO. Yep. Oh, yeah. He invented a bunch of different cars, dude. He's one of my heroes from Detroit, man. He's right up there with, like, Lee Iacocca for me. Lee Iacocca didn't design cars. He sold cars, and he was really good at it. He's up there with Lee Iacocca, Carroll Shelby, Richard Teague, John DeLorean. Those guys are amazing. Duntov. Those are all my favorite engineers and salespeople out of Detroit from the 60s. That's why I like Michigan so much. Because, man, those guys are nuts. Especially Duntov. Duntov was crazy. That's the guy that engineered the suspension for the Corvette. Sora Duntov. Good dude. It wasn't Jesus Ford? No. Not at all. Alright, anyway. Time for space news. I figure we'll go see what Relativity's up to. They released a cut video this afternoon. Let's see yesterday. No, this afternoon. Let's see.
My name is Zach Rubin. I'm the second stage RE. We're here. We have the flight engine on the flight stage, and we are going to do a full mission simulation starting with terminal count through stage 1 burn and stage 2 burn. Obviously, stage 2 burn is going to be the main event, and if it all goes well, we'll accept it for flight.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
3D printed.
actual mission duty for the flight vehicle. It's the first attempt. We went full duration on the first try. It was really cool to see all the teams finally come together. Avionics, flight software, ground software, prop, fluids, stage and ground systems. Really cool to be a part of.
Not bad. Not bad. They also, today, check this out. They released that, and they qualled the second stage, went full duration on the first try, which is pretty damn impressive. That doesn't happen very often. Relativity also shipped out their first stage today. Their first stage. Man, that thing ain't small now, is it? Flight 2 hardware is in the printer. Yeah, I see it over there. So this is their first stage for their Terran 1 rocket. It is Relativity's kind of claim to fame. Their idea is making a rocket that's mostly 3D printed. Like 90% of the rocket is 3D printed. They have these gigantic stir welding. Well, it's not really a stir welding jig. It's just a gigantic test manufacturing cell where they 3D print like the tanks and stuff. And it's actually pretty crazy because they're almost done in a 3D printed rocket. Seems like Redstone scale, maybe a bit smaller. That's bigger than Redstone. But here, I'll show you. Here, check this out. So this is Relativity. The rockets here. Yeah, that's their next level rocket that they're working on, Terran R. This is the stage for the rocket that they're working on here. That's that one that was shipped out. And the second stage was the one that was tested. It can move, actually, what is that, a Fiat 500? The payload fairing can hold a Fiat 500 in it, which is actually pretty good and not bad considering it's all 3D printed. This is what's coming next down the road. I haven't seen anything with that yet, though, but still, it's pretty awesome, actually. If you know, when I came to know that Relativity do rocket in 3D engine printing, I immediately think how the engine doesn't melt during combustion. Can you explain this? It's made out of metal, and it's cooled like every other motor. They're not 3D printing with PLA, Valerio. They're 3D printing with metal. So, this isn't, okay, keep in mind, this isn't exactly what Relativity does. But, think about a welder. What does a welder do? Like a welder, like you'd use it to put metal together, like, right? Makes that noise. Sounds like sizzling bacon almost. What does that do? That lays down a bead of weld, right? Or a TIG welder, for instance. You feed the rod and you make a pool, right? And you just make a long bead of metal. That's what their 3D printers are. It's basically a welder, but it's a welder attached to a circular jig, and that jig is spinning, right? And they have the welder just lay a bead. It's just beads of weld stacked on top of each other. That's it. There's a test bulkhead in that picture. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So, it's made out of metal. They're not printing with like PLA or PETG or PLA Plus. It's metal. They use metal. It's really freaking cool. This is like, the future is now, old man. Stuff like that. A good welder makes $100 an hour. Well, of course. Of course, farm. Duh. Yeah, welding is a great profession to get into. It's a lot of physical work, but hey, physical work ain't hurt nobody. That's not true, but you get the idea. So what changed from 3D printed rocket and doing it normally? 3D printing. Doing it normally is stamping out a bunch of pieces of aluminum plates and then welding them together. Here, I'll show you the doing it normally way. Take a look. Give me 1 second. I got a good picture for this. So here's how rockets are they're kind of assembled like this. It's a bunch of sheets, and then they weld the sheets together to make a barrel, and then they have dome segments that looks like an orange. They weld all that together, and then they sleeve the tanks, right? Put the insulation on, and then add the forward and aft skirts like that, and with all the electrical, and then they put the motor on, and then you get yourself a stage. This is how SLS is made like this. Falcon 9 is made like this. Atlas is made like that. Vulcan is made like that. I don't know if New Glenn will be made like that, but it most likely will because it's using SLS derived tooling. At least that's what Blue said in one of their videos. So yeah, instead of like the zzz, they make it in segments like that. Yeah, this is the manufacturing flow sequence for an S4B 500. This is a Saturn V third stage. So an S4B5. So the 5 means it's for a Saturn V. If there was an S4B-2, it would mean it's for a Saturn 1B. They had slight differences. Why did they have slight differences? One's the second stage, the other's the third stage. True story. So with the 3D printing types, you can have component due in one piece. They're not just 3D printing an entire rocket, Valerio. They're 3D printing all the parts to it, and then they assemble it. It's not just like, oh, 3D print goes, and it prints the whole thing together. That's not, no. It's printing the pieces. You're an EJism. Got him. I don't know if in terms of cost you gain something, but in terms of failure point with there isn't one because everything is one piece. Are the engines 3D printed? Yes. I don't know if in terms of cost you gain something, but in terms of failure points, with there isn't one being because it's one piece. No, it depends. No, it's not the failure points or cost to gain or anything like that. A friction stir welded tank would be just as strong as those 3D printed tanks. It's the time. They can print a 3D printed tank that's equally as strong in way less time. That's relativity's that's what they're trying to bring to the table. The fact that they could literally just crap out a rocket and like their 3D printer just spits out a bunch of parts, like what your 3D printer would do if you were trying to make something more complicated. You don't just print it all in one shot. You just print out every single part and then you put it together. That's what they're trying to do. What relativity's trying to do is they're trying to optimize on-orbit manufacturing. That's what they're trying to do. It's not just about making rockets. It's about manufacturing rockets and other parts and space station stuff in space. My English goes brrr. Yeah, it's hard to translate it, Supercraft, sometimes. NASA to pick next generation spacesuits for moonwalking and spacewalking. Anyway, that's what's going on with relativity. They shipped it out. They shipped out their first stage, and that will head out to their pad down the Cape, which is, I always forget it. I think it's Complex 16. I think they're using Complex 16 here. You know what? I'm just gonna go look. The other thing with 3D printing is because it doesn't take as long, you can rapidly prototype. You can rapidly prototype things, and here's something that not a lot of people know. Relativity is using neural nets they're using neural nets to rapidly prototype rocket designs, so they can print. They could use their neural net to optimize the design, and they can print it fast and test it, because they can manufacture quick. All right, it's like hitting the launch button in Kerbal. You can prototype a lot faster, and so Relativity's designs in the future are going to end up looking way more organic than like kind of run-of-the-mill rockets that you see right now. Tomorrow at 2 Eastern, they'll announce the space suit winner. Oh, cool. Oh, well. Okay. Let me read that in a second. But yeah, I think it's Complex 16. Complex 16 is one of the pads on Missile Row. I think it's down here. 11, 12, 13, 14. Here, let's... There it is. 16. There's Relativity's pad. See? You can tell it's Relativity's pad because of the way it is. No, it literally has a Relativity logo right there. That's cool that they're using a pad. That's cool that they're using one of these pads. This is a Titan pad, an old Titan pad. And it looks like they're still using the blockhouse, which is even cooler. That's old school. What do you mean by organic? Damn a. Give me a second. It will look natural almost. I gotta find they have a video on it. Hold on. Let's try this one. Watch. Look at the grid fins. Did you see that? Right there when they do the overlay. Look. What does that look like to you? That looks like chloroplast. Chlorophyll? More like borophyll. Right? Yeah, see? It looks like plant cells. Yeah. Interesting, right? Now, Relativity can 3D print that. Sure, why not? Why wouldn't they be able to do that? So they could theoretically optimize a structure on a rocket with evolutionary traits. So because they can rapid prototype, they can go quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. They can keep prototyping it until it ends up looking really super freaking organic. Just like how, like let's take a human body for instance. It evolved over millions of years, right? Evolved over millions of years. There's a lot of things that this does automatically that we take for granted, like your immune system, for instance. How your immune system, figures out how to fight cells, right? Like that's pretty, or fight viruses and stuff. That's pretty damn cool, right? That was the result of millions of years of rapid prototyping. Am I right? Am I right, bros? Am I right? All right. Anyway, yeah, the water cube, Magellan. Yeah, right. So yeah, they'll be because they can prototype a lot faster. You can make a more organic design, which is actually pretty cool. So that's a Falcon 9 size starship. Yeah, it does bear a passing resemblance to BFR 2017, but yeah, still really freaking cool. Anyway, let's see. Spacesuit selection tomorrow at 2, huh? So the next bit of news here is coming from NASA to pick generational spacesuits for moonwalking and spacewalking. NASA at 2 p.m. will announce Wednesday, June 1st, the company or companies selected to move forward in developing the next generation spacesuits for Artemis missions at the Moon and the International Space Station during an event at the agency's Johnson Space Center in Houston. Yeah, we'll be watching that. It's theoretically, Valerio, yeah, they could. Or, if you want to build a spaceship up in space, just send one of your 3D printers up there, and then you don't need to bring a rocket into space. You just bring a bunch of raw material up there and you manufacture up there. That's what Relativity's trying to figure out. They're trying to manufacture stuff up there, so we don't have to manufacture it down here, because the bottleneck oftentimes is, you know, you can't fit something inside of a pharynx. So say you wanted to make, I don't know, like a skyscraper. Say you wanted to make a space hotel. You can't launch that in one piece, right? That's a big freaking space hotel. Or like something like the ISS. You can't launch that in one piece. So what do? Send up the 3D printer and then just set up a bunch of raw materials and it 3D prints it for you. That means that way you can make spaceships any size, any shape you want, and as big as you freaking want to. All you got to do is just keep feeding it material and make whatever you want, just like a 3D printer. At least that's the same idea. It's pretty smart. Sounds like they aren't totally happy with the new EVA suits they announced. Yeah, we'll see what's going on with NASA tomorrow. So this is coming from a company called D-Orbit. New PR alert. O'Neill cylinders. Sure, why not? Guys. Yeah. Guys, look. Okay, look. And if you think Relativity's full of it, look at this. Well, they're either full of it or they're either not, or they're damn good salesmen. Where is it? Mission. Look at some of these investors here. Look at some of the investors. Fidelity, Mark Cuban, USC, BlackRock. They ain't screwing around, dude. They ain't screwing around. They're clearly on to something. They're on to something there, and they're on to something that clearly works, or else some of those names would not be on that list. They're clearly on to something. Either that or they're really good salesmen. Tim Ellis is a really good salesman. No, I think they are on to something. And Tim Ellis is really cool. He's a really cool dude. I'd love to meet that guy someday. So, yeah, pretty awesome. Anyway, D-Orbit here. New PR alert. D-Orbit Space Solutions. I've never heard of these guys. I will give them a follow. A new space company with solutions for covering the entire life cycle of a space mission. Okay, mission disposal. Got it. D-Orbit has secured 11 ports for its Ion to launch on SpaceX rideshare missions in 2023. Securing these slots is in line with our plans to launch 13 Ions in 2023 as we work to meet the increasing demand for last-mile space transportation and IOD. In-orbit disposal. Yeah, I think they're making space tugs. Cool. Neat. That's pretty cool. I think Relativity will be the first. Balxy, you think Relativity will be the first in-orbit 3D manufacturer rather than focus on launch vehicles? That's their long-term stated goal, dude. That's not any type of revelation. You're right. Yeah, little D-Orbit drones from D-Orbit, I think. I think that's what's going on there. Pretty good. Good for them. All right. Anyway. Let's see what's going on. The next thing is coming from Blue here. Deep throttling and rapidly responding rocket engines. That was from the other day. So, backed by popular demand, we're sharing the video of our rapid throttle up from 40% power level. Our team has extensively tested combustion stability across the entire throttle range and designated mixture ratios. Let me see. Does this have sound? Oh, no sound. Oh! Oh, man. All right. Anyway. Yeah, look at that. Look at that throttle up. That's really nice. That's a really nice throttle. Oh, that's so cool. You don't know how difficult that is to make it do that without blowing up. That's pretty dang good. Mamma mia. I'm very curious about that argument. Sorry. The Starship could contain the 3D printer and print part for relativity in it, right? SpaceX, or would SpaceX not give consent? I think if the money is right, Valerio, they'll pay for whatever. SpaceX, sure. SpaceX is launching OneWeb satellites into space. That's Starlink's competition. They're launching their own competition into space. Frick it. It's money in the bank, dude. I think if you wanted to launch a school bus into space, as long as you got the right permit, SpaceX would do it if you had the cash. So, if relativity is focusing on on-orbit stuff in the long term, yeah, sure. Send up Starship with one of their 3D printers in it. You believe that? That would be ridiculous. Also, just mamma mia. What happens when you throw Mario in a blender? It's a big jump in thrust in a short amount of time. Soapbox, they went from a 40% deep throttle to max thrust in like 2 seconds. That is extreme throttle response. It's actually less than a second. Here, let's look. Ready? What's the timestamp right here? That's 3. So they start to ramp at 3 seconds. When does it get to full? That's a 60% jump in a second. That's unbelievable. That's really good. That's really freaking impressive. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's really impressive. Do they use turkey feathers on any rocket motor? Nah, anything that you put in this area here, you're gonna lose. You can't use the, you can't use the feathers to do that. They wouldn't be able to handle the pressure coming out of that thing. It's way higher than a jet engine. This is Blue Origin, guys. Vulcan gonna slide off that pad. She's gonna book, that's for sure. Why is the bottom red? Is it hitting something? Just can't take it, eh? I mean, considering that this one thing has more thrust than like an XB70, yeah, it can't take it. Dude, the pressure out in this area right here is high, to say the least. I mean, this engine only produces like 20 times the amount of thrust of like a jet engine. Yeah, the pressure's probably 20 times higher. Gujar, what's this? You tell me. Well, this is clearly a horizontal test stand, right? How does a B4 compare to an SSME? It's pretty in line with it, believe it or not. Only it's using liquid natural gas. Night Sun Temple. How many kilonewtons is this? This makes 2,400 kilonewtons of thrust. So, Gujar, you're getting a little bit of cooler air here. Why? Why would the plume be colder on one side? Horizontal test stand, man. Look, I think this is what's going on, but don't quote me on this. Well, the ground is right here. The ground's right there. Air is fluid, so if you have a lot of air moving at really high speed, like right in this area right here, it will create a vacuum. It'll create a vacuum down here because the ground is right there. And it'll drop the pressure right here. And because the pressure is dropping there, you get a lower temperature. So the plume comes out slightly different, slightly turbulent, and at a slight different color on the bottom than it does on the top because of a horizontal test stand. You can see it's creating a vacuum down there. Yeah, also Novus, that's the other thing. That's dust being sucked up from the ground. You can see it right there. But it's creating a vacuum down underneath. And it's cooler down here. That's why the flames are a different color. Pretty cool, huh? I don't think they spray down there, Soapbox. They might. I don't know. Well, yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the test stand. But it does create a vacuum down there, and that does drop the temperature. It also sucks everything up because vacuum. Either way, pretty cool. That throttle capability is pretty damn impressive. You know what they should do? I mean, those are Vulcan's engines. They should take like a bunch of them and make like a nice reusable core, like Super Heavy. Asmalak, I'm good. How are you? New Glenn? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they should do that. That's a joke. I was kidding. Only mildly. Anyway. No, I know what New Glenn is. Lunar update. More hardware coming to... This is coming from Firefly. More hardware coming to fruition as our partner Solero Tech delivered the first 3 solar panels that will support Blue Ghost M1 landing on the moon in early 2024. That's coming from Firefly. Those are solar panels, and these are shiny, happy people with their solar panels. Shiny, happy people with their solar panels. Shiny, happy people with their solar panels. Anyway. Any cool new space news? Always. I don't think so, Awesome. We need that with a guitar. That's a good song. Right. Here we go. Dip, 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 dip. All right, next bit of news is coming from Sierra Space. Ready? There it is. Sierra Space and Spirit Arrow are forming a long-term strategic partnership. Spirit Arrow. Oh. Are forming a long-term strategic partnership intended to accelerate access to a vibrant space economy in the future. I really like that song. Yeah, it's REM, man. Hey, Shooting Star. Now, REM is good, but don't you know that you are a shooting star? And all the world will love you just as long as you are a shooting star. Anyway. No, seriously, that's what it's called. It's called Shooting Star. That's the service module for Dream Chaser. See? XBZ, what is this? My EJ bingo card is almost full. EJ sings pop song badly. All I need now is EJ breaks out the automaton. Did you have EJ times you out for being a jerk in chat on your bingo card? I don't think you did. Get wrecked. Surprise, chat. I bet you didn't see this one coming, did you? Everyone's like, that was on mine. Bingo! Bingo! If you had told us the truth, chat, we would have told you to cram that Kappa emote right up your butt. This free. You called this free. Lost to God. Sorry, man. I feel responsible. Wait, you said you lost a Ga, right? Have you closed yet? No, not yet. I want an F-14 in War Thunder now. There's an F-14 in War Thunder. So, how will this significantly lower the cost of access to space? Spirit Defense in Space will assist in the development of future, affordable Shooting Star transport vehicles under a letter of intent signed by the two companies. The agreement also provides for the two companies to work together to develop, innovate technologies and process to accelerate Sierra Space's expanding Dream Chaser family of scalable space. What did they mean by that? Why don't you let him put it in there for you? Yeah, why don't you let him put it in there for you? All my mind just defaulted to was an SERV-sized Dream Chaser. Is that bad? There was another big lifting body that they could have. Oh, yes. Pick it out, sir.
To develop technologies essential for lowering the cost of going to space, Lockheed Martin is building and will fly an extraordinary, fully reusable vehicle, the X-33. Its first 450-mile flight from Southern California to Utah will take just 14 minutes. To protect the vehicle from the high heat of re-entry, X-33 uses an innovative metallic thermal...
What? I don't want the VOD to get muted. Shut up! Muted might be preferable. All right.
After
Alright.
landing,
Alright, that's
X-33
fair.
will be returned to the launch site.
After landing, we will go to the caviar factory with James Bostwick III to have cocktails. Yeah. I wonder, I mean, that's probably not what they mean by scalable, but it still is cool to hear. They're probably talking about scaling the manufacturing. But yeah, it looks like they're partnering with them to figure out ways to manufacture more of these shooting stars, which indicates a demand for dream chasers. Demand for dream chasers are a good thing. Yes. Yeah, that's pretty good. Huh. Okay. Cool. That is flight hardware, yeah. Just because this is happening tomorrow. We already talked about it. 2 p.m. I'll be here. Okay, so next bit of news here is coming from Blue Origin. The NS-21 mission is targeting liftoff from Launch Site 1 on Saturday, June 4th at 8... Frick you. God damn it, Jeff! Nine Eastern. Okay. Okay. So we have a tentative date at 9 in the morning on Saturday for New Shepard. First reflight of a Blue Origin astronaut. Nice. You know they like to launch at sunrise. Yeah, you like to launch at sunrise, man. Alright. We got 3 NSF videos to go through here, so let's see what we got. Once again, this video is coming from our buddies over at NASA Spaceflight, Mary, and the NSF robots here. This is footage of SpaceX's Boca Chica launch site and manufacturing facility. Basically the home of Starship development right now. So let's see what they're up to. Yeah, of course it won't, Elfish. Is there any update about Skylon? I've heard nothing for years, Valerio, believe it or not. Which is kind of annoying. Actually, the last thing that I heard that had anything to do with Reaction Engines, the company that's making Skylon, believe it or not, comes from the Formula One world. Mercedes is using Skylon-style radiators in their side pods. That's why they have such a radical side pod redesign. Yeah, they got a very similar type of radiator in there to the helium pre-cooler radiator that Skylon has. True story. Go look it up. Tide Pods? No, those... No. Pythos, how dare you talk about food right now? I'm hungry. Did we talk about the FAA's delay yet? Well, I was just getting into Starship stuff, so... Facha, what's up, man? Did I see that there was a new NSFK flyover video, or was that on Saturday? I don't know. We'll have to check. Have you talked about F1 yet? No, I haven't. You wouldn't want my pot roast recipe for Tide Pods? Okay, maybe. Channeling our inner goose? You're damn right. It seemed appropriate. Let's kick the tires and light the fires, Ren. Yeah, Valerio. They're using. That's the last. That, believe it or not, is the last Skylon anything that I heard, dude. Yeah. All right. So, actually, Lazarus, it's probably a good idea to talk about that right now before we jump into this footage too much. The FAA was supposed. How much for the chat? The little bits. Sell them to me. Sell me your bits. I thought Tide Pods were palate cleansers. Well, that's what bleach is for. Don't eat either of those things. Where did 2016 EJ come from? Nothingness. It's actually 2017 EJ. Thank you very much. Anyway. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the FAA. The programmatic environmental assessment was supposed to come out today. It didn't. But your prescription eyeglass, you were 40 feet away and you made a positive identification without your prescription eyeglasses. They reading glasses. Chat, but let me ask you what color defend its eyes for me. Brown, hazel green. No more questions. But such a good movie. Urinal cakes for dessert. Oh, nice. They only gave 2 weeks. They're finishing up all the interagency consultation. They didn't delay it by another month, which, like I said, that leads me to believe that we're pretty much to the end of this. What's the fastest airplane? Ted's, Everyone in here leave except for the moderators. James is like, all right, people leave. Anyway, so they only delayed it by 2 weeks. They should have the final. They said that the final assessment should come out on the 13th of June. So that's 2 weeks out. Just 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. Anyway, it was Fagelin's fault. What about Steiner? No. Not should, Helfish. They said that the final report will come out on the 13th, which is a very strong indicator that they are in fact finished. How long is your stay going to be on Mars? 2 weeks. Anyway. So, that's kind of in line with the FCC filings that we've seen from SpaceX. They said they reapplied for their FCC permit for the orbital flight test. Ship 24, I was about to say SN24, it's not that. Ship 24 is being tested on the pad. I'll show you in this video right here. And a lot of commodities are being moved to the pad. Now, what are commodities when it comes to talking about rockets? Commodities are propellants, fuel. They're moving copious amounts of liquid methane. The last 5 or 6 NASA spaceflight videos that we've watched, every single one of them has a LOX truck or a methane truck or a nitrogen truck dropping off commodities at the orbital launch site. So we should be seeing Starship. I think we're going to see Starship flying sooner rather than later. At this point, because the FAA delayed it a little bit, I'm probably going to say July. Maybe July, maybe August. Watch, they're going to watch, we haven't closed on our house yet, but when we close on the house and we announce a moving date, it's going to be that week. I know it's going to be that week because of course it is. Anyway, back to the Gunther Steiner. What a vanker. You could say that Steiner has a lot of pieces to pick up after the Monaco GP. Not as many pieces as the Master Blan. Move the setup and streaming rig first. You know it's gonna happen, Hellfish. You know it's gonna happen. Texas Truck Watchers, go. Artemis 1 is going to be after, Jim, so, you know, that's good. So we got that going for us, which is nice. The Dome. For you, what rocket will be in space first? SPSH or SLS? I think Starship will beat it, Valerio. Not by much, but it will beat it. But you guys got to remember, the way that SpaceX is testing and the way that NASA is testing is two different things. NASA is more of a final design. It's a finalized design. SpaceX's OFT will very much be a prototype. Very much be a prototype. Even Elon himself says that the first orbital test flight, he has high confidence that it's not going to work. He'll be surprised if it works. That's his words. NASA, on the other hand, is expecting it to work right the first time. That indicates two different engineering flows, two completely different ways of trying to solve the same problem. NASA is closer to a finalized design, way closer. So you got to remember, which do I think is going to launch first? Well, I think Starship will probably launch first, but Starship is nowhere near its finalized design. Not even close. Not even close. Nowhere near it. What you see now is not what will be like how Starship is going to look in the future. There might be stuff that's redesigned. Heck, you know what? I don't know that for sure. It might look like this in the future, but I guarantee you that stuff will change, albeit small stuff. You know, like the first time it flies people on board, for instance. It'll definitely change. So, you know, it's just a coincidence that Starship and SLS are kind of getting up and flying for the first time around the same time. That's just a coincidence. With that being said, Valerio, which one do I think is going to go first? I think Starship will beat SLS, yeah. It's possible, Foz. I don't think it's a coincidence that they released now. They were clearly filmed like a month ago, so. Yeah, LTO, yep. Yeah, it's important to know that's where Starship's going and where SLS is going is way two different things. It's two way different things, excuse me. Off the ground, Jim. That is a big methane pickup.
Discovery, go at
Asmalok gifted a sub-tiff Factor V mutated. Factor 5 mutated. Top Gun was freaking awesome. Shh. Shh. Don't say anything. Don't say a word. Don't say nothing. I agree, Supercraft. Here's the thing, fellas. Here's the thing. You want to know the best part about this? Ready? 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 Whoosh! You can like all of these things. You don't need to just like Starship or SLS. Personally, I like everything. I don't care. I want more rockets. You should want more rockets too. That's beneficial for everyone. It's okay to like more than one rocket. Your boy EJ, I'm greedy. Okay? I am a very greedy person when it comes to rockets. I want this. See that one on the left? I want this, I want that, and I want that all at the same time. Okay? Okay? I will not compromise on this. I want all of them. In the words of the great, late Freddie Mercury, I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. And I want it now. And I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it where I like. I don't believe in Superman, Frankenstein, or Peter Pan. All I want to do is bicycle. Sure, Furlong, if that's what you want to call it. Methane tube. All I want to do is bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle, bicycle, bicycle race. Ding ding. Ain't no beauty queens in this locality. Take. Still got my greatest treasure. Made a bad boy out of me. Ding, ding, boom. Hey! Down, 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 down. Such a good band, dude. Such a good band. They're the best. That is a thrust section to Starship. Yep, three pipe inlets for 3 center engines, and then there's the gimbal mount. See? Don't believe in Peter Pan, Frankenstein, or Superman. All I wanna do is. Yep. Bicycle, 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 bicycle race. Don't know if you saw these Artemis 4 engine section pictures. Well, I haven't, but I will now. Oh. Iggy Biggy. Nice. Very nice. Nice, Fuzz. There you go. Alright, chat. Next up on the stage here, give it up for Booster 7 in the Mega Band, the Rocket Garden. The progressive rock folk band, yeah, that sings about sci-fi or whatever. Okay. Any ideas on what the mystery box might be? Well, metal, obviously, but that's not important right now. I don't know what it is. A hospital? What is it? It's a place where sick people go to get better. But that's not important right now. Hey, Dak, what's going on? Long time no see, buddy. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, but this is junk, isn't it? It pains me that there are whole generations who have not seen that film. Yeah. Could it be some kind of mass simulator? Is that out of a question? I think it's some type of payload integration device, Voz, but I can't prove it, and I have no way of saying that. It's just... I have no way of knowing that. Excuse me. Thomas, you have a theory on the box, but it's probably wrong. My theory, I think it has to do with a Starlink with Starlink load into the S-24 payload bay. Stack the sats in there, lift the box, have the slots lined up, and move the sats through the slots into the ship bay. I agree. That's what I think too. Asmalok! What's up, buddy? But there are no slots in the box. How do you know? General Kenobi! Well, hello there. That's SN16 getting scrapped, by the way. Shame. Shame that. All I wanna do it. I got Queen stuck in my head now, I'm not gonna lie to you. Have myself a real good time. I feel alive, and the world turning inside out. Yeah. Box slot is visible here. Yep. Yep. I can't pipe those. I can't. Seriously. If I let the pipes go, we could rock the house. No, my neighbors would probably complain. I want to break free! That was bad. That was terrible and it was off key. I want to break free! That music video is crazy. I mean, I can sing, dude. I'm confident in my ability. I'm not the best singer, but I have to tone it down because there's people like right everywhere, you know? But I tell you, someone that can distort their voice like this should be able to sing just fine, don't you think? Good news, everyone! I have developed a way to make smoke come out of a pipe! Man, all this constant exposure to methane is making me thirsty. How did I get the smoke inside of the pipe? Well, that's easy, you nincompoop. I used diamondium. No, Farnsworth, you should have used diamondium. Wenstrom. Farnsworth? Chat, bring me a sandwich from the dumpster and leave the maggots on it. This is ship 24 here with the TIE fighter window on it. Okay, so I would note that they're doing proof testing out on 24. Some tiles did pop off from proof testing, but 24 is nowhere near finished. You could tell because, well, some of the tiles are not there. Some of the tiles might be, you know, not there. What kind of tiles? Real tiles? Decorative tiles? No, I mean as in they don't exist. You can tell that the tiles are not there because of the way that it is. You know, not here or here so much, but right in this area here. No, it looks like they kept the bulkheads exposed. These are all major structural points in the design that they don't have the tiles on. If you're wondering what that triangle thing is, well, it's a conspiracy. No, that's a camera. It's a camera to look at the wing. What's proof testing? Aqua, they went out and it looks like they tanked SN24 or S24 with nitrogen to make sure that the tanks don't leak. I do not leak, Navigator. You leak. It's not pointy enough. That looks real nice. Well, they would do cryoproof testing, dude. But yeah, see, look, that's the bottom of the methane tank. Top of the methane tank. Jesus, man, say excuse me. And then that's where the nose cone section is. Gordon, we've generated a resonance cascade! Don't just stand there. Pick up that gun and shoot it! We get it, you vape. Ah, there you go, Novus. Yep. But it's what all the cool rockets are doing. If the cool rockets told you to jump off a bridge, would you? Yeah. Oh. Oh, that's... Yeah. Watch up on the top right. Right here. Oh, ho, ho. That's very interesting, considering they vented the methane tank and the pressure vessel area. So, the pressure vessel area is where tiles came off. That's very interesting. So, guys, from here up is empty. It's empty space. That's where the payload bay or crew quarters or whatever, Starling dispenser or whatever, pick your poison, is supposed to be. That's where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be right there. So, a bunch of tiles popped off in an area that it's not exactly pressurized. It is pressurized, but it's not pressurized to a high extent, which is very strange. But the tiles actually didn't come off on the areas where the fuel tanks were, which is... That's... I don't understand that one. Yeah. Yeah, that's very weird. I don't understand what's going on here. I don't understand why the tiles would come off in that one... Look! I don't understand why they'd come off in that one area, you know? very weird. They also removed a pipe that was bent on the inside. This pipe was used for header tank pressurization, which broke. The pipe likely hit the side of the vehicle, causing the tiles to yeet off. Yeah. Warlock, 15 mother flippin' months. Are all the COPVs in the skirt? They're scattered around the vehicle. Some of them are actually up in the forward areas, Snatchers. So, yeah. Very interesting. Eekabee. Perhaps the COPV moved from the inside. Well, we saw them pull a bent pipe out of this thing the other day. This footage was from a couple of days ago. We did see them pull a bent pipe out of there, so who knows? They have repaired it with a new... Wow, that was a fat rip. They're venting methane and LOX. The methane and the LOX thing. Not methane and LOX. They're using nitrogen. I don't know if you can hear me. Nice, boss. It is crustacean, yeah. This assembles the vehicle and it receives the vehicle when it comes back from space. True story. Damn. What is that? Roadway kits are used to improve the mobility of vehicles on challenging terrain. Huh. It's nitrogen, Jim. What? An SPMT is being moved by an SPMT. Is that guy, wait, was that guy giving the thumbs? My guy. That's awesome. He gave the thumbs. Dude, hell yeah. You know, fellas, there's ways to drive cars. If you're into cars, you know, you got to get the lean going with one hand on 12. You got to get the lean. Or, you know, there's the, 10 and 2 with your arm out the window, truck driver style, right? Or there's that guy's chill style. Or there's this. Alright. Any nice cars? There's a bucket. You could go bucket style. Vedri. I don't know what that last word is, Ilya. This guy steers. I think that's what that says. Let me. I gotta translate it. I gotta translate the whole thing. Steers on a bucket. Yeah. Yeah, steers on a bucket. Why not? All right, so that's one. We got a couple more, actually. Once again, this footage is coming from our buddies over at NASA Spaceflight. Go over there, give them a sub. Trust me, supporting them over there supports us here. So I can do my terrible impressions over their footage. Oh, look at that nice water pond. I could claim that and make that my house right next to the rocket launch pads. And then I will be like Dr. Zoidberg, homeowner. Yeah, Paler, maybe. It's coming from tank vents, Valerio. It's not RCS. But they are using tank vents as RCS on Starship. That's important to understand. Ah, yes, porta potty removal. That's a new transfer tube for Starship or Super Heavy, I'm not sure. It's wrapped in plastic, and it's fantastic. That was from this, Ilya. Mystery structure intent 1. Let us know what you think it is in the comments below. I don't know. I don't know. Pipe diameter is too small for Super Heavy, so it's Starship. That guy's welding something over there on the left. He's got the welding mask on. Look at the mystery box. That came out really nice. Are they planning on putting out the first Starlink 2 on Starship? Yep. That's right, Senshai. Chat, you can be my wingman anytime. Hey. Ho ho. Ooh. Well, that's pretty neat. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. Do you think the tanks shrink because they're cold, or do they expand because of the pressure? Ah, good question. They expand because of pressure, but they the metal actually contracts because it's cold. It's a balancing act, Paler. Always is. Raptor, Da. Eto Raptor. Raptor 2, actually. Or is it Eto? I think it's O. Forget. Forget. Eto. This. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Spasiba. It's been a while, Ilya. Been a while. I haven't practiced, man. I haven't practiced. I kind of stopped. It's probably a lot, Foz, yeah. I was learning for a little while, Ilya. I just stopped doing it. Is this, so that's 24, because that one's out on the pad there. Hey, B-Money. How's the home going? No news is good news right now, dude. You got a bunch of lifts up there going inside. Oh, this must be when they pull the pipe out. Ogromny, Ilya. Yeah, B-Money, the sellers sent us an email today asking us what furniture, if, you know, if they want to buy any of the furniture because they're leaving and where they're going, like they don't, you know, they're moving a long distance away, moving out of state, long distance away. So they're like, do you want to keep some of this? Like, you could buy it off us very, like, pretty cheap because we don't feel like getting rid of it. So I'm assuming if they're calling us, asking us what we want for furniture, that we're pretty much wrapping up here. We just got to let it, but it's, once again, it's the bank. So who knows? The shades remind you of the first stream I watched from you. I think I found you wearing shades. Odd, and that's why I stuck around that day. All right. Nice. And then you did Colin's Transportation System Commercial Program stream chat. Don't think I haven't, I forgot about that. I still remember the people that did that program. You, Phoenix Soul did it. Who else? There's a bunch of other people. Shimmy. Yeah. Okay, let's see what's in the next one. That's an NSF Live. Okay. Here's the last video for the day. The next Starship video from NSF has a certain theme to it. Oh, yeah? And the metal's so strong that there are no replacements for it? Oh, there are plenty of replacements, dude. For this? Yeah. Sounds like the seller's downsizing. Well, God, I don't want to say anything, and I don't want to talk about why the seller's move. Hey, NSF truck. I don't want to talk about why they're moving so much just yet. Yeah, Z, old school. I still keep up with some of those guys and girls. Z, to be honest, I talked to Tanuki a little while ago. Yeah. She's doing all right. I haven't talked to Shimmy in a little while, but Coffee comes in here from time to time, and Das I talk to once a week. Here he is driving his truck. We all do cooking. We all do. So the real question is, who's still subbed to Shimmy? Who still has the Shimmy taco? Who's still subbed to him? I'm still subbed to him. You guys still subbed to him? Whose truck is that? That's Das's. Что? Ilya? Huh? Consider what Tyler does. He gives people currency for time watching him, and people can use it to book tourist flights. Consider that, but the money flows to you like contracts. Yeah. Eh. You sack. Huh. Chimichangas? Nice. They're putting up some type of plate cover there. I'm just not sure exactly what that's for. I think that's just an electrical raceway. That guy's pulling something up on the string right here. Ah, yes, a bucket. Mr. Bucket. Put your balls in my top, Mr. Bucket. Mr. Bucket, I'm full of pudding. Its forward aero cover has not been installed yet. Okay. See this, chat? See the tiles? Those are called forbidden Oreos. Don't eat them. It's bad for you. Fuzz, I don't want to talk about it. Have fun, Thomas. So these guys are removing the old Starship umbilical, which was a vertical up and down umbilical. You should outfit your new studio with forbidden Oreos. Yeah. Yeah. I like my Oreos like yeah, you know what? Don't do that. Yeah, yeah, you don't want to make that joke. That's a joke you don't want. That's a joke you don't want to make. How many starships have already been collected? Oh, I don't know. There's a bunch of junk starships around. Some nice drone footage here. Food? We get it. It's a Toyota on the side of the road. It's nothing new. Right. Wide Peepo Bay? Can I get some wide peepos in chat for the wide Peepo Bay? New super heavy grid fins right there. Why is everything mega now? I don't know, Jim. I don't like calling it that. Wide Bay caught me slipping. I agree. Ford. See the Super Duty over there, Ilya? Look. See that? Now that's a truck, boy. Very nice. Это хорошо. Also, hey, look at that. The cilia fibers on the interior. That's very interesting. On that aero cover, this is good. I was gonna say at one point, Burke moved and set up a purpose-built studio from Raid Shadow Legends money. Then I saw the video and dang, he got paid, and likely not your style. I don't know, Foz, maybe. I think I have enough to swing to get the studio that I want. But fellas, here's the thing. You know, if we score that house, like once again, I'm pretty sure we got it, but pretty sure means dick. I want the key in my hand. I want the keys to that house and the keys to that garage in my hand. Okay, then we talk about this. But what I want to do is we'll figure it out. We'll prototype out different streaming setups because we can do a lot in that big of a space. Visual on a certain truck on the left side. Oh, yes! Oh, that is just Giga Chad OBS Ford right there. I love it. Look at it. Oh, that's nice, man. Quad cab, long bed F350. So nice. That's the truck, dude. Yeah, Cientic, exactly. I want, you know, like when it comes to that point, guys, I want to get a mobile streaming setup that we used for Route 154 out and design the streaming setup for the garage. Let's design the studio. Why not? Right? Like, dude, we could do a lot of cool stuff with that big of a space. It is a freaking studio. It's freaking sweet, man. Sweet! I'm not getting excited about it until it's mine, though. You know what I mean? Said like someone who hasn't had to park a truck that long. Bro, I drive around a 69 Coronet. It's as long as that truck, Gaw. Nice try, though. I wonder what that is. I don't know what that is. Drive around a boat. What are you talking about? Hey, phone sister. Big enough for a lift? It's almost big enough for 2 4-posts, goalie. Niva urban car? Nivas? Ugh. I don't mind Nivas. Ilya, I'm more of a Jigili. If we're gonna go there. Wait, do you want the house or the garage? Yes. Part of the Raptor covers, I got it. No, Gully, that's not happening. For truck, not for car. Was. The other side of the box, thanks to RGV. Yeah.
Go and throttle up.
Yeah. That's gotta be a payload dispenser. Look at this picture is from RGV aerial. Look, Creeper, look at that thing. That's gotta be a Starlink payload dispenser. It has to be. Higabigabee. Riverin. 13-month resub. Thank you. It's got to be a payload dispenser, or what the Pez dispenser looks like from the inside. I don't know. Bird. I think it's a Starlink loader, Katra, yeah. Oh, look, more methane dropped off. You can tell it's methane because of the way it is. Booster 5, SN15. That one's flown. Ship 22 and Ship 20. Yeah, something like that. Oh, yeah. Hey. These are all prototypes. Cool. All right. Okay, so to cap off the end of space news here, fellas, check this out. Take a look. We got pictures of the Artemis 3 engine section right here for SLS. Oh. I'm not sure who's using the truck right now, Foz. I could ask. Hell yeah. Oh. Nice. Most excellent. See that part of SLS on the graphic in the background? That white part? That's what this is. That's for the Artemis 3 mission. Fantastic. What's that, Thomas? European Service Module 4 successfully completed integration activities in Thales Alinea's Turin plant and is now traveling to Bremen. The element will provide key technologies to sustain life inside of the astronauts capsule. Artemis 4, huh? Ancient Chinese secret, huh? Look at that. Huh. This is in Turin, right? So... Okay. I might have to get ready for round 3, game 1. Let's go, Avs. Ew. Gross. Yep. Interesting. All right. I think I got everything for today. I think we're done. We'll share more Rocket Lab stuff tomorrow. We got a Rocket Lab capstone update. Support final launch and photon readiness checks. We're now targeting net June 13th for the launch of capstone. Okay. It's going to take a second. All right, cool. Well, fellas, usually, or what I have been doing on Tuesdays is playing... I've been playing Escape from Tarkov with Taradra, but guys, I'm honestly kind of bored of Tarkov. So yeah, I told Taradra, I want to go back to playing KSP, and he said, yeah, I thought this would happen eventually. No problem. So if you want to go see Tarkov, I'm pretty sure Taradra